businesses are back close to 50% in terms of not quantity, but in terms of, I would say, the largeness of the business in terms of economic strength. We're back about 50%. One of our biggest problems now is still the shelter cluster. Shelter cluster, we're targeting about 14,500 homes for people that were displaced. That's 14,500 families. And relocating the displaced families, is a problem because we don't have the resources to build them a permanent or a temporary house immediately. We don't have the resources. What are we building now are temporary shelters to get people out of tents. And once we get them out of tents, we will continue to build temporary or what we call transitional houses to move those in the danger zone in a safer zone, in a safer area.
One year ago, the coastal city of Tacloban was ravaged by the biggest typhoon known to date. Haiyan, referred to locally as Yolanda, left a trail of death and destruction in its wake. Today, houses made from wood, sheets and tarpaulin cover the area ravaged by the superstorm. In neighborhood 68, one of those most affected, large cargo ships stranded inland are a daily reminder for the residents of what happened 1 year ago.
There is a moon and the stars, and it's really a good weather, so they did not bother themselves to go to the evacuation center. But they did not expect that the waves are huge waves. So when they wake up in the morning, the water was already up to their breast already. So they had to do is to come to my house. Well, my house was open at that time, so they stayed here until the water subsided. Thanks God, we were all safe here. We were all safe. I don't know what to do and where to start, actually, because I have so many constituents who are wounded. So many are hungry. We have full of waste there. All the houses there were gone. But I was not able to cry. I wasn't able to cry. I want to cry, but I don't know. It's hard for me to cry. But I want to cry because of the people. It was really, what's this, ground zero. I saw no house, no single house there, except my house standing still. The rest are destroyed. Some of those people who died are already there in the evacuation center. But since the weather is good, they went down to check their house, to visit their properties, and they slept there. When they wake up, the water was already high, so they were not able to swim. So they died. So I was really shocked, and I was really disappointed because they're not supposed to, ships are not supposed to be there. They're supposed to stay far, far away because they knew already that there is a very strong typhoon. But anyway, I don't know. So the target of the ship is my barangay. So, and up to now, there are ships still there.
In critical areas, signs warn that buildings too close to the sea are prohibited. But the delay in the construction of permanent settlements and the collapse of temporary centers means that the residents with fewer resources have returned to build humble dwellings in dangerous areas and, in the worst cases, live in their destroyed houses with the few belongings that Typhoon Haiyan left them.
The water coming up, and then we sliding, swimming. My family, all of my children, my husband, my brother, were swimming. So we're crying. We're traumatized. Here, live in seaside. We live here almost 28 years. They're starting to build a relocation in Babatngon, in New Kawayan. If finish, unfinished the relocation test. So we're waiting the relocation to finish.
The danger areas, we have about 3,000 families. We have about 900, almost 1,000 in tents, which we hope to accomplish by November. We will not have any more families in the tents. That's our target.
With that date passed, that objective remains very far from being met.
The transitional homes are good for 3 to 4 years. And by that time, we feel there will be already permanent homes. Now, what is our fallback? Our fallback is if we don't get some funds from the national government, then we will have to program that now from the local government, from the city government. Since we're the capital of the region, the city has sufficient income. It will take several years, but we will be able to build those houses.
Given the scale of destruction caused by Haiyan, there are many people in Tacloban who lost all their belongings. A year later, they remain in dire situations. Luisa's family found shelter underneath a bridge where they now live and sell various products in an effort to save some money, as they don't have a site in a temporary settlement, nor have they been assigned permanent accommodation.
Kumadto na kami sa eskwelahan. Sumakop kami dito ang room. Kaya nagkakalupad naman ng mga simmam. Katimahan, kuanan mga sim, tubig na ang kumuanan, sumakob. Dako nga tubig, mga balod. Di, gumawas kami dito ha eskwelahan. Tapos, meron nga di ko nang dako nga tubig, nagkagawas kami. Kati mapaggawas, sumakob liwat kami ang room. Kay di rin naman kami kuan makakakuanit mga kakaptan. Nagsaka kami nga tuhan kisami, pinakakisami. Wala na kadahan room, anak kasawa, nakadamanan among balay. Nagbibinantay kami, ang mga kabataan ni ako, nakato kami kuan eskwelahan. Kami lang nag-backwait.
Hindi pala kasama?
Hindi kasama yung asawa ko. Tapos sabi niya, wala na raw yung pamilya niya. Tapos meron nga, namatay na kuno kami. Kay waray naman, di naman makukuha na ito tubig kay apot man at tulay. Apaw naman ang tulay. Waray na iya pagkuhan nga, nabuhi kami. Kasi ma'am, waray man kami babalayan na iba, waray man kami tuna nga, okyan namon. Di danalanay kami, waray man iba. Kuan ma'am, din niya tulay, itong tulay, nagsisiring-siring man, nabayog man niya. Tapos mahagkot, diri kami na nga turog. Nahadlok liwat ako kahit kabataan, danay na kukuan din na salog. Amula tagi nakakadlokan. Mao pa ito, atot kat kalugaringon nim na balay, safety ka. Tuan ma'am balay, tapos pagkaon, tapos itong karuya ko tak tindahan, dumako pa ba. Karuya ko balay. Dirik na hadlok ma'am, kumbaga sugod dito may bagyo pa. Diri lang ito na tubig, rogan, at amon mga gamit nagsasarang. At amon TV, adto man, tapos at amon kasit. Tapos at amon mga kuan, mga banig ato det may lamisa, mga ulo na nagsasarang. Tapos at amon nigdana di kami natanan.
Asked about a possible relocation, Luisa is emphatic.
Waray man.
There are thousands of people like Luisa in a helpless situation without the longed-for government assistance that fails to arrive. NGOs have tried to fill the void.
Basically, the project is all about the unconditional cash transfer programming that we're providing to the families who are vulnerable during the Typhoon Haiyan. And we targeted 10,000 household beneficiaries, and these are all covering areas in Tacloban City, Leyte municipalities. These families have this vulnerability criteria that includes they have to be pregnant and lactating mothers, child-headed households, families with SAM, severely acute malnourished children, and MAM, moderately acute malnourished children. They're elderly persons, those that were separated from their families during the typhoon, orphans, persons with disabilities, and also those persons with chronic illnesses.
So they're working in conjunction to what has to be ultimately accomplished. So that's important to have those guidance. And we work very well with them. There's good coordination. If there's any problem that they have, then, we're open to talks and then we discuss, so they have a clear understanding of, why we are doing and why we are doing,
So it's basically the NGOs are taking care of things the government cannot take care of?
They assist in helping the community to build back their lives better.
Many solidarity initiatives flourished after the typhoon with the aim of collecting funds and assistance for those affected. Some of those were born in the Filipino capital, Manila.
Of the days after Yolanda, I was told that my name was over the radio where people were saying, Juana Change, you can't just all the time be protesting out in the streets at this time of Yolanda. You should offer help. And I did. And with my group, the Scrapwork Network, we decided to start with a project called Project Yakap. Yakap means embrace. And so we said we'd open our homes to whoever needed shelter, because we felt that we didn't want them to live in gymnasiums or tents after such a traumatic experience.
Because of our children, we are so worried. It was almost out of water, no water already, and we are afraid that they get sick. Yeah, that's why we decided to go to Manila.
Their faces were blank. When they came to me, they were just lifeless. There was just no expression. And when I looked at them, I mean, I just really wanted to literally embrace them.
Yes, it was the house of joy. She embraced us. We are so blessed to have her. It was fun staying in her house. Many of her friends go there, come to see us, to visit us. Some of her friends bring some foods, some clothes. It was really fun staying at her house.
I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 10 here in my room, and then some would stay in the other room. One slept here. One. At other times, some people had to sleep at the wooden sofa. So there was constant cooking, and but we had a lot of rice because they knew that there were just a bit too many of us here. So people would send us sacks of rice. So that was a lot of help because Filipinos will love to eat rice. Yeah, poor kids because, a Chinese school accepted them with tuition fee for free, but it's quite away from here. So they had to be in school by 7, so they had to be up at 4:35 because they're like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them who went to that school. And so they were really up early and they had to commute. So they had to take the jeep, they had to take several, I think 3 rides to get to the school.
Well, I miss everything here. I miss the serenity. I miss the kind of simple life that we have.
The heart is able to open and to really give. And I saw that Yolanda was able to bring out the good in a lot of people. And I was actually surprised. I thought that 5 months with 21 people, 13, 5 in my home would be a burden. Actually, the whole 5 months really was one of the best times of this home. I mean, I've lived here for since 1997, but the 5 months that I had my Yolanda Yakapis in my home, I think were the best times of this house.
This is our house. This is where we live. This is where we used to live. We are comfortable here, so we come back.
The land on which the temporary settlement at Motocross sits on the outskirts of Tacloban was loaned by a pharmaceutical company for humanitarian reasons for the temporary relocation of survivors of Typhoon Haiyan. The date for the end of their accommodation is the 31st of December 2014.
Very big responsibility, This is the biggest camp in Tacloban. This is our profile, by the way. We have right now, as of updating September 1, we have 528 families and 2,260 individuals.
We moved here in March because our house is totally damaged by Yolanda. So the government transfer us here. It's very difficult here because we are very far from the school, about my children and my job. My work is very far, 2 rides. Not like in our place before Yolanda, it's a walking distance to every school, church, market.
The situation now is we are allowed to extend until end of December. The target date, that's the target date. Hopefully by that time, all of them will be able to move there to the permanent relocation site.
We're making cabinet for the clothes. Almost the same cooking area. But here, the government give us food, canned goods, and 25 kilos per month.
Of rice?
Yeah. Free water, electricity. That's the good. Bad aspect because of different community living here. We do not know each other. That's the problem, and very far from the center.
Once again, the lack of response from the government about the next steps means that those displaced head towards an uncertain future.
We do not know. We are totally blank. We do not know where we be transferred. What kind of house? We do not know.
I asked some of the guys from IOM, and they told me that the pace of the construction is such that they don't think the target date will be met. One unit of this for the small families, numbering 1 to 5 members per family, it's considered a small family. So they occupy one unit, one house unit, about 3 by 6.
My 2 daughters.
With time running against the clock, Another extension of the accommodation in the temporary settlements would be the only solution so that the victims will not be without a place they can call home once again.
Yeah, actually I asked that question during the, we call this the harampang, the open forum with the city government. And the answer given was, in that case, if that happens, then perhaps there will be another round of asking for an extension again.
Objectives, dates, hopes. In Tacloban, these words are repeated again and again to talk about the new permanent settlements. Eventually, Charito, the elected representative of Neighborhood 68, calls to inform us about the state of the construction. "10 kilometers separate Tacloban from the new settlement. They are kilometers full of dreams of a new life, far from danger, kilometers of uncertainty about seeing the state of the new homes." With no more than 30 workers, delay is more than evident, and suspicions that the deadlines will not be met are confirmed.
I make targets in order to, we have to put a little pressure with everybody in City Hall that, that our target is by this year. And to see something better would be 6 to 8 months after, or maybe by the third, fourth quarter of 2015 will be better.
Nonetheless, Charito remains enthusiastic to see how his new home will be one day.
This is our new house, the one that they donated us. Our first recipient is Manasirapia.
Ako nag-ukoy, 40 years ako dito nag-ukoy. Kay 1973, nag-ukoy anibong.
Once our house will be finished, then we have to occupy immediately. Okay, we'll go upstairs. Okay, this is another bedroom, and this is fresh. So here, a little bedroom.
One year ago, Tacloban and Leyte was flooded with water, pain and suffering. Although slow, the reconstruction continues at its own pace. New hopes and lessons learned.
There are a lot of things that we have learned from it, and there's a lot of things that we discovered from it.
We are more curious about the weather updates.
The Typhoon Glenda, I only went there to their house once. I told them to go to the evacuation center, and they really abide.
And bring food.
Spending more time with our family.
The city never forgets that there are still thousands of displaced people and that every day they have to keep looking at the sky.